The ocean disappeared from beneath their ship and revealed a city that should have been buried for 10,000 years. Captain Elias Voss had sailed through storms, war zones, and waters that maps warned sailors to avoid. But nothing prepared him for what he saw that morning. The Atlantic was gone. Not drained, not evaporated, gone. His cargo vessel drifted in place, engines humming uselessly as the horizon stretched into something impossible. A vast exposed seabed, miles deep, as if the ocean had simply stepped aside. "Tell me I'm not seeing this," one of the crew whispered. No one answered, because they were all seeing it. The ship wasn't floating anymore. It was resting on the ocean floor. Elias stepped onto the deck, gripping the railing tightly. The air felt wrong, too still, too heavy, as if something enormous had just exhaled and now was waiting. "Check the instruments," he ordered. But the instruments weren't helping. Depth readings showed 0. GPS displayed no coordinates, and the compass spun slowly, like it had lost interest in pointing anywhere. Then someone shouted from the bow, "Captain, you need to see this!" Elias moved forward, and that's when he saw it. Stretching across the exposed seabed was a city. Not ruins, not scattered remains, a full structure. Massive towers, roads, archways, perfectly intact, as if preserved outside of time. No corrosion, no damage, just waiting. "How is that even possible?" a crew member said. Elias didn't answer, because something about the city felt familiar. Not like he had been there before, but like it had been waiting for him specifically. Against every rule of survival and logic, Elias gave the order, "Prepare to disembark." The crew hesitated, but they obeyed. They always did. They lowered a ladder from the ship down to the seabed. The moment Elias stepped off, the ground beneath his boots felt warm. Not cold like ocean sediment, warm, alive. He looked back at the ship. For a brief second, it looked farther away than it should have been. Then the perspective snapped back to normal. Elias frowned. "Stay close," he said. No one stayed close. The city was larger than it first appeared, much larger. What looked like a few towers from afar turned into an endless maze of structures as they approached. The architecture was unlike anything human. Smooth surfaces with no seams, curved edges that didn't follow normal geometry, and symbols everywhere, carved into walls, roads, even the ground itself. A repeating pattern, 3 intersecting lines forming a shape that seemed to shift depending on how you looked at it. "Captain," one of the crew members called out, "you should see this." They had found an entrance, a massive archway leading into the heart of the city. Dark, but not empty. Elias stepped closer, and that's when he heard it. A sound. Low, deep, like something far below was moving, breathing. They entered, and immediately the outside world felt distant. Sound changed. Footsteps echoed too long. Air pressure shifted slightly. And the deeper they went, the more the city seemed to react. Walls pulsed faintly. Lights, if they were lights, flickered on and off in patterns, not random, intentional. One of the crew members suddenly stopped walking. "I've been here before," he said. Elias turned. "That's not possible." The man shook his head slowly. "I know this place." Then he pointed down a corridor. "There's a room there, and inside it—" He froze, because the corridor wasn't there anymore. The path had changed, rearranged itself silently. Elias felt it now. This place wasn't abandoned, it was active. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't behave normally inside the city. Watches stopped, then reset, then looped. At one point, Elias checked his watch 3 times, and each time it showed a different time. The crew started separating, not intentionally,
They would turn a corner and simply not come back. No screams, no struggle, just gone. Until only Elias remained, or at least that's what he thought. He found the center eventually, a massive circular chamber, and in the middle of it, a structure, a platform rising from the ground, surrounded by the same shifting symbols, and standing on it was a man, facing away. Elias approached slowly. "Hey!" he called out. The man didn't move. Elias stepped closer and closer until he could see the reflection of the man's face on the smooth surface of the structure. Elias stopped breathing, because the face staring back was his own face. The man turned, same face, same eyes, same everything, but different expression, calm, knowing. "You're late," the other Elias said. Elias stepped back. "What is this?" The other version smiled slightly. "This is where you return." "I've never been here." The other Elias shook his head. "You always say that." The ground beneath them vibrated. The city responded. Symbols began glowing, walls shifting, the entire structure coming alive. "You brought them again," the other Elias said. Elias looked around. "They're gone." "No," the other said softly. "They're inside." Elias didn't understand until the floor beneath him became transparent, and he saw them, all of them, his crew, standing below, frozen in place, embedded into the structure itself, eyes open, alive, but not moving. "They're not dead," the other Elias said. "They're part of the system now." Elias felt something inside him break. "What system?" The other Elias stepped closer. "The one that keeps the city alive." The chamber darkened, the air grew heavier, and Elias realized something terrifying. The city wasn't ancient, it wasn't abandoned, it was functioning, and it needed something to continue. "You were chosen," the other Elias said, "to replace me." Elias shook his head. "No." But even as he said it, he felt the ground pulling him toward the platform. His body wasn't responding. "You don't leave," the other said. "You continue." The last thing Elias saw was the other version of himself stepping off the platform, free, walking away, while he was pulled into place, locked, connected, and suddenly he understood everything. The city, the cycles, the disappearances, the reason it had felt familiar, because he had already been here, more than once. When the ocean returned, the ship was gone, the crew was gone, no record of them remained, just empty waters, calm, silent, as if nothing had ever happened. But far below, the city still stands, waiting, resetting, and somewhere inside it, a man with Elias's face is still standing on that platform, waiting for the next ship to arrive.